it's Dan here from Pro Guides, back to bring you another fantastic video. We are here to bring you the latest and greatest on what you need to know. And to kick that all off, I'm here to teach you the tips, tricks, and fundamentals of Omen. But before we get into it, it's time to hit you with the question of the day. Do you prefer Vandal or Phantom? Personally, I prefer a mix of both due to the Phantom having bigger magazine size and easier spray. But I also like the Vandal for its potential to one-shot at any range. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below on what you think. And as always, don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you learn anything or just generally enjoy the video. Have you ever held down an angle and died from somewhere you would never expect? Well, Omen has the ability to do that as a master of manipulation. Omen is known as what's called a controller class agent in Valorant. The controller class is a group of agents that take space and control parts of the map with ease. Taking control of a site is a double advantage with Omen because once you have the site, his ability to take advanced positions is something not a lot of agents can do. To kick off our list of Omen abilities, we have Paranoia. Paranoia allows you to fire high-speed projectiles straight through walls and surfaces that acts like a flashbang. Once the target is hit, they will receive a visibility debuff, making it so they can only see a few feet in front of themselves. This ability is great for taking aggressive duels, allowing you to get the guard by throwing it through a wall. But don't be fooled, it isn't completely foolproof or a guarantee. A lot of people don't know that when throwing Paranoia toward an enemy, the enemy is prompted with a warning. The enemy knows the angle from which it's coming. Something to take into account before using this ability is that crosshair placement is vital for this ability to work and actually play out to your success. It is what makes Omen Omen. Dark Cover acts as a smoke, but has its own distinctive features, including the fact that it's on a 30-second cooldown. One of these features is that this smoke is considered to be hollow. Because Omen's smoke is hollow, it can sometimes feel like a mini duel arena. But keep in mind, just because no one can see you from outside the smoke, they can still shoot you. Another feature is Omen's smoke is tied for the largest smoke in the game, thus it allows for bigger entryways and sight lines to be covered. Dark Cover is mainly going to be used. You should be keeping an eye on your minimap and the center of your screen so it lands exactly where you want it to go. Along with making sure it looks good on the minimap, a small green/yellow arrow will be shown on your screen. This arrow gives you the indication on whether or not the smoke will land correctly. When the indicator or arrow is green, this means that the smoke when pressing left click will be in a proper position. However, if the indicator or arrow is yellow, it means you are throwing the smoke too low, meaning it may not end up smoking what you want it to. The third ability in Omen's arsenal is known as Shrouded Step. Shrouded Step allows you to teleport a short distance, either on top of boxes, into corners, or even just a few feet in front of you. Using Shrouded Step may throw your opponent off if they don't see you cross a sight line they were holding. However, Shrouded Step comes with its downfalls, so be cautious when using it. One of those downfalls being it leaves you in a state in which you can be killed, but you cannot move or fire your gun out for a few seconds. Another thing to take account for is the noise indication this ability sets off. If an enemy is paying close enough attention, they could catch you by surprise instead of the other way around. So when you're using Shrouded Step, use it with caution, and make sure to take into account the enemy's position. The last thing we'll talk about with Shrouded Step is the underused potential to get into backlines of the enemy team. This can set up your team for success on clearing a site for your team to plant or even retake the spike site. One of the more underrated uses of Shrouded Step is to wait for retakes and use it to get into an unexpected location that your enemies will not clear. The final and perhaps most important ability is Omen's ultimate, known as From the Shadows. From the Shadows can be used in many different ways and can be paired with other abilities for safer use, such as Dark Cover. From the Shadows is an ultimate that you need 7 points to be able to use. These points are obtained through kills and the orbs found around the map. Once you've collected all the points necessary, you're granted the ability to teleport anywhere on the map, but at a cost. Once activated, you'll be prompted with a larger, more close-up version of the minimap. Once there, you will select a location you'd like to teleport to. But this is a high-risk, high-reward ability due to the fact that once it's activated, it makes a very loud noise indication, and also puts a dark flame-like effect over your enemy's minimap, showing that you have teleported to an unknown location. Once you've selected a location, you are in a state in which you fade from existence and then are brought back to where you have selected. This ability takes time to use, meaning you're stuck in a state where you cannot be killed and cannot kill while you come back into existence. However, during this time, you can still be stopped. Despite not being killed right away, once an enemy kills the shadow version of yourself, you're returned to the location the ability was used from. If the enemy is patient, they can wait for the shadow version to fade and kill you for real. So not only should you take into account where you choose to teleport to, but also be cautious of where you're teleporting from. As I had mentioned before, this ability can be paired with Dark Cover. To execute this, Simply throw smokes down across the map into places where people may be, and then use the ultimate ability and teleport into your smoke, thus giving you time to exit shadow form. This ability is used to take sites at a much faster pace due to Omen having the ability to get into the enemy's back line with such ease. This will force the enemy team to play more passive and afraid because you could be anywhere. Tips and tricks. Our first tip is called smoke hopping. Smoke hopping is pairing dark cover ability with shrouded step and hopping from smoke to smoke. This is done by throwing your first smoke on top of you, but in a location in which you can get into the smoke safely. Right after, you will throw your next smoke a short distance away from that smoke, but still in shrouded step range. This allows you to get inside the first smoke and teleport a short distance to your second smoke. This maneuver will surely leave the enemy confused on how you got to your new position, giving you the advantage. An important tip is that all of Omen's abilities are useful in many situations. For instance, his From the Shadows ultimate is not only useful for flanks or setting up sightlines, it can also be used to distract your enemies, making them scramble while your team hits a site. Make sure that you and your team are on the same page, or else this can end in disaster. Our next tip is about dark cover. Dark cover can be vital to your team if used correctly. It's important that you set out to use your dark cover as a support ability for your team and not just for yourself to pass through. But if you do, make sure that you're communicating the information to your team, allowing them to know where you smoked, which will allow them to take more aggressive angles. Our fourth tip or trick is to throw one of your smokes into a corner behind an enemy, then using your TP on the other side of that wall. Once the enemy hears you teleporting, he is going to assume you teleported inside the smoke, allowing you to get the jump on him and have an advantage in the gunfight. Omen has many neat little tricks he can use to throw off his enemy, one of them being the ability to make fake teleport plays using his Shrouded Step ability, using it as you're jumping through a portal on maps like Bind, thus indicating that you have gone through one of the two portals on the map. What this allows for is the enemy to be holding an angle in which he thinks you could be coming from, when in reality you could be somewhere completely different, giving you the element of surprise and the advantage over your opponent. Our final tip you can use to get an advantage with Omen is to use Omen's dark cover to slow down the push while calling for rotates. While defending the smokes can not only be used to block off and or slow the enemy team from pushing, but you can also use them to create 1v1 duels to your advantage. This can be done by placing the smoke in a path that a person would have to take to plant the spike, thus making it less likely for the whole team to jump in. This will both slow the enemy's attack or give you an advantageous one-on-one. Before we end the video, remember, if you are struggling in Valorant or any other game, head on over to ProGuides.com to experience courses and coaching from the very best in the game. Closing remarks. That is about it from us today at ProGuides. We hope that today's video will help you master the art of deception playing as Omen. And as always, if you enjoyed the video or any of the tips provided, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more Valorant tips and tricks to help you best your opponents out on the field. Stay safe and take care.